Professional wrestling has been called the original sham sport. Almost since its beginning some 30 years ago, critics and fans alike have argued over professional wrestling's status in the sports world. Tonight, Newswatch 6 reporter Valerie Williams begins a three-part series entitled Professional Wrestling, Sport or Spectacle. Valerie?
Jim, when I was 12, my father took me to see Ox Baker in the Heart Punch. And Ox would slap his fist like this 3 times. And if his opponent hadn't done what he wanted, he'd sock them in the chest and give them a heart attack. Allegedly, Ox had killed 7 men this way. Well, the night I was there, Ox wound up to hit his opponent, and he missed. Instead, he hit the referee. That night, I was hooked, and
You've been into wrestling ever since?
Well, no. I became a teenager and found out that wrestling wasn't cool, and so I stopped. Well, today, professional wrestling is very cool. It's a multi-million-dollar business that has attracted stars like rock and roller Cyndi Lauper and even Liberace. Recent Nielsen ratings reveal that 4 out of the nation's top 10 cable TV programs are wrestling shows. Most do better than college football. Now, among a nation of sports nuts, wrestling has finally gained respectability. Wrestling owes much to television. That's where it got its start in the early 50s with the likes of Gorgeous George, Fritz Von Erich, and Johnny Valentine. In the early days, wrestling was on a lot because it was cheap to produce and filled up a lot of dead airtime. But nothing is left of those memorable years because the matches were shown live and networks did not bother to record them. Today, professional wrestling is a fashion-conscious sport that attracts more than its share of female fans. Never mind the violence, just look at those bulging biceps. But traditionally, wrestling has been a blue-collar sport that has just now started to cross socioeconomic barriers.
See, it was like a closet sport where people would say, well, you know, you watch wrestling. If you were at a party, you know, you say, oh, I watch wrestling, and you're a lawyer or you're a doctor. People look at you like you're a little strange, a little weird.
This is Fred Barron, a wrestling promoter here in Texas. Barron refuses to grant interviews, but statewide he is considered one of the biggest names in the business. Promoters like Barron have helped to shape wrestling's new classier image. One promoter last year grossed $100 million. Promoters are truly the kings in this sport because they call all of the shots. Wrestlers must go through them in order to book matches, and a promoter can make or break a wrestler. And tomorrow we'll take a look at the sports side of wrestling with some interesting interviews with a few of the ring's good guys and bad guys. And Jim, just to give you an idea of how far WrestleMania has gone, CBS is now airing a cartoon series that features professional wrestlers.
Does this series mean we're going to start calling you Bruiser?
No, not me.
Okay, thank you, Valerie. Coming up, former Governor Clements hits the road in his campaign to reclaim the state